Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Amma ba'du fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ya ayyuhal muddathir. قم فأنذر وربك فكبر وثيابك فطهر والرجز فاهجر ولا تمنن تستكثر ولربك فاصبر إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير خلقه محمد وآله وأصحابه وأهل بيته وعترته وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Respected brothers, sisters, and dearest children, I would like to welcome everyone for the lesson number 18, Alhamdulillah, now in our series of Seeratun Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And mashallah, we are happy to see that Al-Emaan Center are supporting us and helping us to upload these videos for the benefit of all the communities who are interested in these lessons. So I would like to welcome everyone. Alhamdulillah, we have now reached the level where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has received his first revelation, and that is actually a sign that he's about to become a prophet. So the revelation has started. Last week we discussed how Jibreel alayhi salatu salam came, and as a result, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam initially was very frightened, and he came in his real form. And that was, of course, that is, of course, I think I got a message just now that obviously times are changing now. So you will have to bear with me so that we can maybe look into the timing as we go along through the winter, what will be the best. For the moment, let's just keep it this week as it is, inshallah. And then maybe we'll consult with the brothers and sisters to see how we can rearrange the time to suit the winter timing, which is about to. So because probably the Maghrib Salat is now moving back. So just stay with the lesson, inshallah, for this week, and then we can, inshallah, work out. So Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam now is, in the Ghar Hira, in this cave. He's trying to meditate, he's keeping away. And as we know, he has been already getting the signs that he's about to become the prophet. The revelations are about to start because he's been having the dreams. If you remember, for the last few months since Rabiul Awwal, all the way up to Ramadan, which is around 6 months, he's getting these dreams. And each dream is coming true. And the stones, in fact, and the pebbles where he is walking, they are saying, they're taking his name, Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah. They're giving salam to him. And of course, these are all the signs that he's about to become a prophet. He's being prepared for that. And then the final day, which came, where Jibreel alayhi salatu salam came in his real form, and don't forget that this original real form of Jibreel alayhi salam, was only for our beloved Prophet Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. No other prophets in the past had seen him in the real form. It was only Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was given this privilege, and which in fact he saw him twice. Once for the first wahi, which is the revelation, Iqra Bismi Rabbika Alladhi Khalaq, where he came in his real form. And this is a time when Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is an ordinary human being, right? Allah Ta'ala has in fact mentioned that in the ayat right at the end of Surah Kahf, if you look at it, where Allah Ta'ala is telling Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to inform everyone, Qul innama ana basharum mislukum yuha ilayya annama ilahukum ilahun wahid. That, oh people, Allah Ta'ala is saying, tell everyone that I am just like a same human like you. The only difference between me and you is that I get the revelations, the wahi. So Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, as a human, he's sitting in this cave, Jibreel Alayhi Salatu Wasalam comes. And what is the difference between an ordinary human being and a prophet? We can take an analogy. So a prophet is, if you like, someone who is actually standing on top of a mountain, right? Now, because he's standing on top of the mountain, he has the advantage of seeing both sides. So if we are on one side, because of the mountain, we are unable to see what the other side is. So Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was given this privilege to become the leader of all the prophets and prophet, Rasul, and a messenger, so that Allah Ta'ala informed him through the revelations, through the wahi, everything which is going to happen in this dunya because of our actions, and everything which will happen in the other life which will come after death. So being on top of the mountain, he is able to see the other side, if you like. He can see both sides. The results of our actions in this dunya and the results of our action in the hereafter, how they are determined, Allah Ta'ala sent Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to inform us this. This is a messenger. And the question is that, is a messenger necessary for humanity? Of course, a messenger is necessary for humanity, because Allah Ta'ala, this is just a general rule, if you like, that whoever creates something, we have so many manufacturers, so many companies, and there are even smaller companies. No matter how big or small the company is, if they manufacture something, if they create something, it is they feel the obligation themselves. It is an obligation on the manufacturer or the company who is producing something to make sure that everyone understands their product, right? So you will find, this is the general rule, that anything which we go in the shop and buy, even it might be a very small thing, you will find there's an instruction book coming with it, right? So this instruction book, this is an obligation from the manufacturer. They feel that obligation, that we have to tell the customers, or we have to tell the users how they should use this machine so that they can get the best result, right? Now, and also you will find that there is a guarantee or warranty attached. And they write at the end that if this product is used according to or this machine is used according to the instructions we are giving you, then you will get, you have a warranty for 1 year or 2 years, right? And we will do everything for you. So this is an obligation. This is a natural rule, if you like, of any company or manufacturer. So in the same way, Allah Ta'ala is the creator of this human being. And in the first revelation, Allah is saying that, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. One who has created, right, everything. In fact, in the first ayat, Allah Ta'ala is saying, the one who read in the name of that one being who has created everything. Khalaqal, and then secondly, Allah Ta'ala is saying, Khalaqal insana min alaq. And then we created the human being. So Allah Ta'ala is the creator of the human being. It was an obligation on Allah Ta'ala to inform the human being how to use this machine. So we can imagine ourselves like a sophisticated machine. I mean, I've been involved I've retired as being a computer scientist myself. I've worked for 25 years in Shell, and we found that when we were getting the computers, new computer, if we ordered a new computer, so we ended up getting hundreds of manuals, instruction books with the computer, because it's a very sophisticated machine. So with that, instructions came, and these instructions were mind-boggling for us. Even those who were experts, it was difficult for us to understand those instruction books even. So then what happened? The manufacturers of those computers, they sent engineers with the instruction books so that they can inform us and they can tell us how to use the instructions, how to use these instruction books and where to use what instruction book. They came and informed us, specialized engineers. So in the similar manner, you can imagine that Allah Ta'ala is the creator of the human being. It was a must, an obligation on Allah Ta'ala to inform us how to use this sophisticated human machine. Because, I mean, human is like a machine. What are we? Every machine produces something, right? What are we producing? We are producing actions all the time. Our 24-hour, if you look at it, you will find that 24-hour we are generating and producing actions. If you look at something, action. If you hear something, action. If you are saying something, action. If you are walking, action. If you are picking something up with your hand, action. All the parts of the body which are fitted by Allah Ta'ala in us, in this 6-foot machine, are producing 24-hour actions. Now, how to use these parts of the body in the most efficient way so that we can benefit our own self and benefit others who are around us, we need an instruction book for that. And that instruction book used to be the holy books which Allah Ta'ala revealed to the prophets. And before Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, other prophets came. Approximately, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam informed us that approximately there were 124,000 prophets, messengers. No place on earth where there has been creation, Allah Ta'ala is saying in the Quran that we did not send a messenger. A prophet came, either a Rasul or a Nabi. And this is obviously Rasul and Nabi. What is the difference between them? Rasul is a messenger and Nabi is also a messenger. In fact, but there is a little bit difference. There is, in fact, a lot of great philosophers and ulamas and scholars, they have interpreted this and discussed this in detail. But briefly, I don't want to go into those details, but briefly, a Rasul, a messenger, is bringing the whole Sharia with him, probably a book. And a Rasul is one who is confronted mostly, right? As we find, last week I informed you that when Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he came back after this ayat of the first ayat which were given to him, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq, khalaqal insana min alaq, Iqra wa rabbukal akram, alladhi allama bil qalam, allama al insana ma lam ya'lam. Allah has taught a human what he did not know. Right? So he came back and he ran and he was frightened, and he said, Zammiluni, to the wife, Bibi Khadija, and cover me, because he was shivering, he was shaking. And after that, they went, one of the cousins of Bibi Khadija, Waraqa ibn Nawfal, who was actually an expert on the previous book. In fact, he used to believe in the Nasrani, the true Nasrani, no shirk involved. He was believing in the Isa alayhi salatu salam's true Injil, in fact, and he was expert. So when he was informed all these things, what did he say to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He said that this is a good news, that you are now about to become a prophet, right? And this angel, who is the bringer of secret messages from Allah Ta'ala, and the name mentioned was Namus, which refers to Jibreel alayhi salatu salam. So this angel, he has come to you. It is good news that you are about to become a prophet. And then he mentioned this point, which I want to bring to you, is that I wish I would be alive to see the day. So that means that he's the first person who accepted Islam. Waraqa ibn Nawfal, in fact. Well, obviously, first in the women, or the first, in fact, is Hazrat Bibi Khadija, who immediately, as soon as Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came and said, Zammiluni, she accepted, because she comforted him and said, so she's the first. And then when they go to Waraqa ibn Nawfal, although, the traditional way of accepting Islam is to read the Shahada, right? Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Obviously, there is no Shahada yet. So only one message has come from Allah Ta'ala. But we find that Waraqa ibn Nawfal has accepted, because he's saying that I wish I would be present at the time when your people will persecute you, will make fun of you, these things. So this is a sign of a Rasul, a messenger, that when they bring the messages, then there is confrontation from the people. So one of the signs, in fact. So you will be ridiculed and you will be persecuted, and in fact, finally, they will throw you out from Makkah. So Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he heard this, he was surprised. He was shocked that they will throw me out. He said, yes, this is what we see from the previous Rasuls, previous prophets, messengers who came, and they had this confrontation, right, by the people. And that is actually a sign, because when they stand up to give the message. So Waraqa ibn Nawfal became Muslim, and so Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is now about to become the messenger. He's received the first revelation, but in the first revelation there is only the lesson of reading, knowledge, gaining knowledge, acquiring knowledge. This is the first lesson, in fact, in Islam, and this is something which should be highlighted to the people wherever we go, that our Islam, which we have, which is universal, it's all about knowledge. It's all about gaining and practicing upon the knowledge. It's all about educating ourselves. It's not just something like we just follow things. No, we have to go and inquire, become inquisitive. This has to be the nature of human. And we find that in the first couple of hundred centuries after Islam, if you look at it, you will find great philosophers came out, great scientists, great doctors, and all this is coming out of Islam. Why? Because that's the lesson which Islam is teaching us, to Iqra, Bismi Rabbi, acquire the knowledge. Allah Ta'ala is saying, we have taught man which he did not know, right? So all this is happening, and Warqa ibn Nawfal has become Muslim without the Shahada, because in fact there is only one authentic hadith after, I think someone asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what about Warqa? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that I see him in Jannah. So because obviously he accepted readily that if I was with you, I would be in full support with you. So that has happened now. The first revelation has arrived. Now Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is concerned, going out every day, although he was frightened to see Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam, but he is now looking forward to meeting him again. Right? And he goes every day to the mountain and comes back and try to find out why it's not happening again. And then a time passes. Some ulama scholars have mentioned maybe 1 year has gone, but some other have mentioned, and these are all riwayat, in fact, in Bukhari Sharif. And in fact, incidentally, this is also worth noting that most of these very authentic riwayat have been reported by Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala. Hazrat Aisha, who was not even present, at the time of the revelations, she wasn't there. She didn't exist at that. But at the time of the revelation, but the most authentic riwayat, in fact, mentioned in Bukhari Sharif about the wahi and revelations and all the details we find, mostly given by Hazrat Aisha radiallahu. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you can see that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how close he was with his wife Hazrat Aisha. After the demise of Bibi Khadija, she came into the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam before the others, in fact, and he actually filled her in, and that was probably the main reason, to get someone who was young, who was able to take everything in, and so many ahadith have been given. Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, she in fact, and Bibi Khadija, both of them, in fact, all the Ummahatul Mu'mineen, all the wives, but these are standing out spectacular, that these people, these women, they were intelligent, they were wise, they had the wisdom, and that shows that the ability is there. A woman, like people generally say today, that does not have the wisdom and intelligence. No, that's not the case. The ability is there. If it is misused, then it's going to be wasted, which is what is happening today, right? That is being wasted on things which are not useful. Whereas we find that there have been in our history of Islam very spectacular women, like Bibi Khadija, like Hazrat Aisha, like Hazrat Sumayya. In fact, later on we will find Hazrat Sumayya. They are people. They are in fact women who surpass even the men. In many of the cases, like Bibi Khadija, she has the honor and status of being the first person, in fact, in the humanity to become Muslim on the hands of the leader of the Prophet. That's a very high status. A grand status has gone to her. And in the same way, Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala, she has mentioned so many ahadith with regards to Rasulullah. So most of the revelation which we find, they are reported by Hazrat Aisha. And then Hazrat Sumayya, later on we will work, that she has the highest status. She is the first person in Islam to offer shahadat, to become shaheed. You know, she lost her life and was very brutally murdered by the non-Muslims. And you know, if you even if you read her stories, even today, after 1400 years have passed, it will send shivers in our spine. You know, such brutally she was. But she got that status of being the highest ranking woman, highest ranking person in Islam, because she is the first shaheed in Islam. So you know, the women have done their roles, in fact. So Hazrat Aisha is reporting most of the hadiths that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is now, you know, these points are coming in. So I want to give you all these points at the time, but otherwise I'll forget them. And try to stay with the subject also. Hazrat Aisha is reporting, and these are hadiths coming from Bukhari Sharif, that you know, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is now looking again, and according to some mufassirin, you know, a month or 40 days have passed, right? So he's now from Ramadan, he's into Shawwal, and he's looking, he's eagerly anxious that you know, where is he? He came one, and that's it. And then suddenly, when he's coming back from one day from this mountain, he suddenly hears his name. So he looks around everywhere, and he doesn't find anyone. And then, of course, then when he looks up, he finds that again, you know, Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam is sitting on a chair. So when he sees him, you know, and this is the, you know, the status and power of a believer or a mu'min or a messenger, that when he sees it, he starts shivering again. Because although he's looking forward to seeing him, ulama writes, but yet when he sees him now, he starts, and he runs back to the house. And then again says, Zammiluni, Zammiluni, cover me, cover me. And of course, now most of the ulama, they say that Jibreel alayhi salam followed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he came probably in the human form this time, and then gave the second revelation. And these are the ayat of the Surah Mudassir. And this is a very important turning point, if you like. You know, the first revelation, the ability has been, he's been hugged, he's been squeezed, and a person who is unable to give knowledge, who did not know anything, who could not read, who could not write, Allah Ta'ala created that ability through the squeezing and hugging. So, you know, as I mentioned last week, the knowledge and everything, the abilities have been passed on from the messenger of Nur, Jibreel alayhi salam, as he hugged him, and it transferred. Right? So this can happen, right? And still can happen. You know, some ulama, they say that you know, this inspiration link is still there, and this is something obviously spiritual, from ruh to ruh it goes, and which we cannot comprehend and understand. And if you look at the way the revelations also, you know, sometimes Jibreel alayhi salam came on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mostly as a human, and that was the most comfortable, in fact, the way he would receive, he would feel most comfortable. And sometimes the Sahaba also saw him, Jibreel alayhi salam. In fact, there was a question that anyone who sees Jibreel alayhi salam, is he a prophet? No, not necessarily, because many Sahaba saw, and in fact, you know, many Sahaba, they saw Jibreel salam. In fact, we all know the famous hadith of Jibreel is known as, right? That that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was sitting with the Sahaba, and um, you know, then suddenly a person suddenly arrived, and he looked as if he was a traveler. He has been traveling for days, but there were no there were no signs of him being a musafir or traveler. He came and he sat down with Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and then, you know, it goes on, and then finally he Sahaba, they asked, who was this person? So Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam informed the Sahaba that this was Jibreel, who came and taught us about the Iman and Ihsan. Yeah? And, you know, the famous words at the end of this hadith, أَن تَعْبُدَ اللَّهَ كَأَنَّكَ تَرَى فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَاهُ فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ. That do the ibadat of Allah Ta'ala. And this is actually, you know, this is why we need the messenger. This is why we need the tarbiyat and training and the knowledge. So why? So, أَن تَعْبُدَ اللَّهَ كَأَنَّكَ تَرَى فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَاهُ فَإِنَّهُ. To do the ibadat of Allah Ta'ala, our Creator, in such a way as if we are seeing Him. You know, imagine you are standing in front of the Queen or King. You know, how are you going to? Like, you know, I normally mention, I think about 20, when I used to be in England, a person came to me one day and said, oh, you know, I have received the OBE award from the Queen. And I've been asked to come to the, you know, the honor of the British Empire, this award, which is given every year for those people who are heavily involved in community work, and they've done something spectacular. So every year, you know, the Queen invites these people, and they are given the honor, you know, this medal or whatever it is, the OBE award. So he said, I've been nominated, and I have been asked that there will be a 3 or 6 month sessions of rehearsal and training, so that we know how to stand in front of the Queen. Right? So I said, Subhanallah, we stand 5 times in front of Allah Ta'ala, and we don't train ourselves. And yet for this OBE, this simple medal, in order to get that, 6 months training, how we are supposed to walk, how we are supposed to talk, how we are supposed to move our hands, where we should keep and how we should be walking. And all this training is given, how to use the whole body, right? So that when we are standing in front of the Queen, we give the special honor and respect which she deserves. Right? So in Hadith Jibreel says, أَن تَعْبُدَ اللَّهَ كَأَنَّكَ تَرَاهُ. Imagine when you do the ibadat in such a way that you are looking at Allah. And if you cannot achieve that level, because that is the highest level, that's the level of ihsan. But so at least imagine when we that Allah is looking at us. Right? So you know, let's analyze ourselves. In fact, at this stage, because you know, this is the reason for these revelations and the training of the messengers, so that we can connect ourselves with Allah Ta'ala. How we can connect ourselves with Allah Ta'ala. So anyway, so Jibreel Salatu Salam, you know, can be seen by and that doesn't mean necessarily that they also become prophets. No, the prophets are those who are given the special task by Allah Ta'ala. And this is now, you know, the second revelation. He follows, he comes, and then, you know, the second revelations, which is the Surah Mudassir, the first 7 ayat of the Surah, Ya ayyuhal Mudassir, Qum fa'anzir. Now this is the way which this is telling us that now Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has been given the mission now. He was prepared in the first revelation. Now he's given the mission of Risalat, of the being a messenger. Allah Ta'ala is saying, oh, you who is wrapped up in a cloth, the large cloth or shawl or whatever he was when he came and said Zamiluni. So get up, qum fa'anzir wa rabbaka fakabbir. Right? Now this is the message of Risalat. This is what is going to show to the entire world that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has been asked now, and qum means to get up. So get up from, metaphorically or symbolically, in any way you could look at this. One is the apparent situation that is wrapped up in a piece of cloth and he's been asked to get up from that. And the other is that now time has come, that you have to now take this priority, leave everything and now get up, and then fa'anzir, warn the people, tell them about the messages, and warabbaka fakabbir, and tell them about the greatness of Allah Ta'ala, the Creator Allah. Praise Allah Ta'ala, right? And determine and tell them about Allah Ta'ala. And ulama mufassirin, they say that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam literally got up that day in such a way that all his life, the 23 years he spent as a prophet, he never rested properly after that. This is the meaning of the, get up, qum. Allah Ta'ala is giving the order. Qum fa'andir wa rabbaka fakabbir. Talk about the girl. Wa thiyabaka fatahir. And keep yourself presentable, clean and purified. This is also an important message, in fact, that, the Muslims have been taught to be smart. Don't just, be unpresentable, and don't sort of put yourself in such situation that people look at you and say, oh, we don't want to be like this guy. So, no, what Allah Ta'ala is saying, Qum fa'anzir, wa rabbaka fakabbir, wa thiyabaka fatahir. Purify yourself, clean yourself. This paki and cleanliness comes in, and smartness comes in, and be presentable, wisdom and wise. Be wise when we are presenting ourselves. All these things. This is what Allah is saying. وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهِّرْ وَالرُّزَّ فَاهْجُرْ وَلَا تَمْنُنْ تَسْتَكْثِرْ وَلِرَبِّكَ فَاصْبِرْ. So these ayat, when they came, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has been given the task now to start the work, right? And Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is now getting up, and this is where, in fact, our time is up, and inshallah we will go into details more how Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam now got up. And then initially, obviously, if you get something special, this is also generally the case, that we obviously come and inform the near one first, those who are around us, right? So Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, it is mentioned that he first of all collected all his relatives, those who are the near ones, family members, and started his mission of Risalat, of passing on now the messages. And as I said, that messenger is necessary. Why? Because it is an obligation from Allah Ta'ala, the Creator, to tell us how to use this 6-foot body in the proper way. As I mentioned, like the computers which are sophisticated, they send manuals, and they also send engineers to explain the manuals. So in the same way, Allah Ta'ala sent Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam with the Quran. The Quran is the instruction book for us, how we have to use it, because Allah Ta'ala in the Quran is saying, وَفِيهِ ذِكْرُكُمْ, O human being, I am talking about you in the human being, that you have to do this, and you have to stop your refrain from this. All this is all about us, this book, how we have to use this 6-foot body in the proper way so that we can get the maximum benefit. And this message now, how Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam stands up and starts passing it on. Inshallah, we will continue. It's getting more and more interesting, inshallah. And we hope that more and more brothers and sisters, they can join, and children, so that they can benefit from this, inshallah. So may Allah Ta'ala give us the ability. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. There's a message here. Would it be possible to move the class? Okay, inshallah, we will discuss that and let you know, inshallah, ahead of time. Because I think the Maghrib Salat time is coming. So, subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun, wa salamun ala al-mursaleen, walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum.